SmackDown took place tonight in Buffalo, New York at KeyBank Center. Now, before I get into this review, I wanted to wish everyone listening a happy new year. Now, with the first SmackDown of 2026 taking place tonight, the first Raw of 2026 will take place on the 5th, and it will be a Stranger Things themed episode. The show just had its finale drop on New Year's Eve, which I watched, and I just wanted to give a brief, non spoiler review. I thought season 5 as a whole was underwhelming. I definitely thought seasons 4 and 1 were better. I still thought it was better than seasons 2 and 3, but the finale was definitely better than the overall season was. And I'll just say this, as I said, no spoilers. I believe. If you watch the show, you know some of the discourse online, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I believe. We'll see what WWE does this Monday, but right now let's focus on Friday Night SmackDown, which opened up with Cody Rhodes getting off his tour bus. Then we see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair arguing on an escalator. That's never a good idea. Then we see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky arriving, and then Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Then we see Asuka and Kairi Sane arriving. Then we see Damian Priest. And finally, the last people we see are Aleister Black and Zelina, both the main event participants in the ambulance match arriving last. As Michael Cole and Corey Graves were talking, we fucking hear the Miz's voice in the year 2026. We will never escape this fucking guy. He debuted in 2006. It's been 20 years. Can you just go away now? He cuts the same promo he's been cutting since I don't know when. It's the same shit. Finally, Randy Orton interrupted him, making his return and getting a big pop. He shut the Miz up with an RKO, then he hit another one. Personally, I thought they should have saved his return for the Royal Rumble. I think it would have been a bigger deal. So Nia Jax and Lash Legend confronted Asuka and Kairi Sane backstage. They still want tag team title shots despite teaming with the champions. Asuka says they can face them, then she walks off. Kairi tries to explain, and then Asuka yells Kairi's name. Io Sky was out next. Then Rhea Ripley came out to a big pop. Backstage, Randy Orton tells Cody Rhodes that he's coming for the championship. Nick Aldis then reminds Cody that he cannot touch Drew McIntyre tonight before their match. Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend were already in the ring before the Kabuki Warriors made their entrance ahead of the first official match of 2026, which was an 8-woman tag team match. We had Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley taking on Asuka, Kairi Sane, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax. So Rhea Ripley started off in the match. She tagged in Alexa early on. Then what happened was the heels got the heat on Alexa. But then Alexa hit a tornado DDT onto Nia Jax. Then she made the hot tag to Charlotte. She then got Asuka. Charlotte did in the figure 8. But Kairi Sane broke it up with an insane elbow. Charlotte made the hot tag to Io Sky. There was a cool spot where Lash Legend caught Io Sky coming off the top with a bicycle kick, which looked really good. Io Sky kicked out. Then they got the heat on Io for a while. Io finally made the hot tag to Rhea, who went wild. Then you had the spot in every single multi-tag match where everyone starts hitting their finishers in the ring, and they had a whole bunch of them. I believe you had the Twisted Bliss DDT onto Asuka. Eventually, Rhea Ripley hits a Riptide onto Kairi Sane. Then she tags in Io Sky, who hit the over the moonsault onto Kairi for the win. I thought this was a fun opening women's tag team match to start off the year. The faces celebrated, and I thought, though, however, that Rhea and Io aren't winning on Raw if they're just going to pin one member of the champs in this match. I think it's most likely that the heels are going to retain on Raw. Nick Aldis was recruiting Jordan Grace in the back, in I believe it was his office, and then Chelsea Green walks in with Alba Fire. She claims she can't go out there tonight because of the emotional ending of Stranger Things. No spoilers. WWE is giving away more spoilers than I did. She tries to get out of the match, but she should just say like what I said. I believe, and it'll be okay. 11 is out there. Anyway, Kit Wilson was out next, and then back after break, Kit was in the ring. He called Buffalo toxic. Then he was interrupted by Zack Ryder at first, and we thought it was Zack Ryder because we heard the woo woo woo, you know it. And then he came out as Matt Cardona, like the screen switched, and he was Matt Cardona, and we got Matt Cardona and Kit Wilson. Cole announced that Cardona is officially on SmackDown. It made sense for him to lose in the last time is now tournament as Zack Ryder, because why beat Matt Cardona? You're just beating Zack Ryder, and he was never going to win the tournament anyways. So Kit got in some offense, but then eventually Cardona would go on to win the match after hitting a Rough Rider, if that's what they call it now. It's still the Rough Rider to me, I don't know. Michael Cole called it a Rough Rider. Backstage, Kathy Kelly interviewed Damian Priest before the ambulance match tonight. He says this ends tonight, and I thought he cut a very good, fiery promo ahead of the main event tonight. We got a Wyatt 6 video promo on the MFT via some VHS videotape. I didn't care. Sami Zayn was out next. He talked about being in attendance for John Cena's last match. It led to his son asking him how many times he's won the world title. He had to say he never has. He says he's here to become a world champion in 2026. Then he was interrupted by Trick Williams, and all I thought was, oh great, we have another fucking yeet to deal with the whoop that Trick, which Buffalo loved to chant. He cut a good promo, just Trick sucks in the ring. I mean, that's the thing. I watched almost all his career in NXT. He's awful in the ring. And I'm not that excited about him coming to the main roster. I'm really not. But this was a good promo. Sammy says Trick hasn't been humbled yet. Backstage, Ilya Dragunov wants another shot at Carmelo Hayes. Then Melo thanks The Miz for leaving him all alone after he walked by him backstage. Johnny Gargano was out next with Candice LeRae. He has new theme music. There was no Tommaso Ciampa tonight. Backstage, Nick Aldis talked to Rey Fenix. Then Trick barged in. Rey Fenix stands up to him because of his attitude. Nick Aldis then made a match between the two of them next week. Carmelo Hayes was out next, and we get our United States Championship. Not necessarily an open challenge, but a challenge in a way. Carmelo Hayes defending his title against Johnny Gargano. The fans are really into Carmelo. They're having a very good matchup, and they'll definitely, people like them, people like Carmelo Hayes and Johnny Gargano and Ilya Dragunov are definitely going to benefit from SmackDown going to 3 hours. I think there's going to be a lot more longer matches, and the people who are really good workers are definitely going to benefit from that if WWE chooses to use it wisely. If they book SmackDown like they did tonight for the rest of the year, I think it's going to be a good show this year. And I thought, not to go ahead of ourselves, I thought this was better than almost any SmackDown from last year. I really did. Anyway, this was a very good matchup here. There was a "This is awesome" chant. Melo then won the match after hitting a nothing but net. Backstage, Shinsuke Nakamura briefly talked to Tama Tonga in Japanese. Solo asked if everything was okay, and there's an 8-man tag match next week. Yawn. Backstage, Kathy Kelly talks to Jade Cargill after Mishin was pulled from the match that was supposed to take place tonight. They pass it off as Jade injuring Mishin at a WWE live event. Mishin had shoulder surgery, I believe. I still think they can do the angle, whatever. I think B-Fab will join Jade, and maybe after they can bring in Jada Parker potentially. Anyway, Jordan Grace walked up to Jade, and Jade suggests she sign somewhere else. Clearly, Jordan Grace is going to be on SmackDown. Cody Rhodes was walking backstage. Then he walked into Sammy, who was just standing there. They're teasing a title match in the future. Then Nick Aldis walks in. Cody tells him he's heading to the ring. He's looking for Drew McIntyre. They did the sign of the night gimmick. Then we got an Obafemi video package. Cody Rhodes was out next, and he cuts a promo on Drew McIntyre. And then Drew appears on the screen behind the Nightmare Bus, and he's standing right outside it. And Drew announced the stipulations first for the 3 stages of hell. The first is a straight wrestling match. Then fall 2 is Falls Count Anywhere, and then the third fall is inside an old school steel cage. I guess that would have to mean the bars, which were painful as hell back in the day. Then Drew eventually said that he went on to the Cody Express, the Nightmare Bus, whatever you want to call it, and he pulls out a picture of Cody Rhodes and his late father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and then he smashes the framed picture. Cody flips out. He goes after him. He sprints through the gorilla, but the security are holding him from going outside. Then Drew snuck back in the ring, and he has the picture by itself now. He's holding it, and there was a trash can. Then Cody then comes back to the ring, but there's a million security guards holding him back. All this is there. They're all upset with Drew, and then Drew takes a lighter and lights the picture of Dusty and Cody on fire before he dumps it into the trash can. Smoke goes everywhere. This was a heavy segment, I thought. I thought this was really well done, and definitely a good build-up to their match next week. And, I don't know what they're going to do next week. I think after this, Cody has to win now, right? The babyface isn't going to lose after what Drew just did to him, but I almost think they're just doing that 3 stages of hell to give Drew a win over Cody, like a visual pinfall, but he's still going to lose. Then they preview next week's show in Berlin, Germany. Chelsea Green was out next. Then Julia was out with Kiana James, and she didn't get much of a reaction as you'd expect. Then we get the Women's United States Championship on the line. Chelsea Green defending her title against Julia. So Julia beat her up for a while. Fans were really into Chelsea, so there was at least a reaction. Alba Fire, I think, tried to get involved on Chelsea's behalf. Julia hit a top rope butterfly suplex. Then she rolled through and hit a Northern Lights suplex for the win, and she won the match. I thought this was her best showing on the main roster. She has now regained the Women's United States Championship, and definitely a good showing for her, and I'm glad she got this win here. I liked the matchup. I thought it was good. The fans were just into Chelsea, but hopefully Julia can build off this, and she'll definitely have a better reign than her first one was. I think Jordan Grace would be a good opponent for her if they can work together. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky were interviewed backstage by Kathy Kelly. She asked them about their tag team match on Raw. Then Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair walked in. Alexa wished them good luck, but then Charlotte said they're next in line. And I thought Rhea and Alexa have really good chemistry together on screen. They just work well together. I don't know what it is, but I'd like to see them interact with each other some more. Back in the arena, we see the ambulance being backed in on stage, and that's when they were setting up the main events. They showed a Stranger Things Raw video package. Already mentioned that. I'm a big fan of Stranger Things. If you've been listening to this and you couldn't already tell, I'm a big fan. Backstage, Fraxia mocked Johnny Gargano after his loss. He was with his wife Candice. No sights of Tommaso Ciampa on the show tonight. And then Axiom wanted his mask back, and then he said he'll ask Nick Aldis for a match against Johnny. We hear the ambulance sirens ahead of the main event, which was an ambulance match. Damian Priest taking on Aleister Black, who had his wife Zelina in his corner. So in this matchup, it started off. Priest brought out a table. Black hit a Meteora off the steps, driving Priest through the table. Aleister Black then attacked Damian Priest by hitting him with the steel chair in the back. And then they end up near the ambulance finally on stage. And there was a really cool spot where Zelina opens up the ambulance, the back door of the ambulance, and then it reveals Rhea Ripley was inside. She chases after Zelina, then hits a Riptide in the ring. So that kind of closes the book on their involvement in this rivalry. Priest used a crutch onto Black, and then later Black gets some offense in. Eventually, Aleister Black's, I think he's a fire extinguisher first onto, no, sorry, Damian Priest uses a fire extinguisher onto Aleister Black, and then he hits him with a fireball, getting his revenge. And then Priest brings out this large platform. I'm not sure what it was. I thought, okay, it looked like tables, but like it was like two tables covered with a black sheet and like a black cover actually. And then there was a laptop, and it was kind of strange. But then what happened was um, Priest they go by the front of the ambulance, and Priest, it looks like he's gonna hit a razor's edge on a production box, but instead he kicks away the box, and he hits the razor's edge on Black onto a windshield, the windshield of the ambulance, and it shatters it, which looked really good when he hit it. And then he takes Black to the top of the ambulance, and then he hits a choke slam off the top of the ambulance onto Black, driving him through two tables that Priest had brought out, and that destroys Aleister Black. Choke slam from the top of the ambulance through two tables. It's over after that. Then Priest like threw open all three doors of the ambulance to get in. The back doors, the two back doors, and the side door. He throws in Aleister Black through the back, then shuts all three doors, and wins the match. He not only won the ambulance match, he won the rivalry. This long 6-month rivalry is finally over. Priest celebrated his win. He sat on the ambulance bench as the show ended, and he is victorious. And that ended what I thought was a very good SmackDown, maybe even a great SmackDown. Definitely, probably better than any SmackDown of 2025. And that tells you how shitty last year was for SmackDown, how much it sucked. I thought this was better than almost any other show from that year that I can even think of. And this definitely delivered. This definitely was a good show, and I really enjoyed it. So hopefully WWE continues their momentum that they've started with SmackDown, and hopefully Raw is very good as well. So that was it, and SmackDown from Buffalo, the first SmackDown of 2026, definitely delivered.